Hi, it's Therese and it's time to Gimme 5 with Penny Black, and today I have some easy abstract flowers 5 ways. Okay, so I've got this die set and it's called Abstract Flowers and it's really funky, but basically it's a series of circles, some stems, and you can make some really funky flowers and a couple of other ideas that I have as well. So I thought I'd get straight into it and start making some very easy cards using this gorgeous die. I have die cut some very bright coloured cardstock, and I love my bright flowers, and I've always loved this kind of funky shape that you can have in a flower. And the best thing about this die set is that it has all different sized die cut circles, so you can layer this up or use negative spaces, do whatever you please. And I'm going to play with a few different ideas here. Now my first card is a landscape side fold, and I'm doing some really simple layering here. I'm only doing like 3 layers of the circles, and they are a little bit wonky, you might notice. They're not actually a perfect circle, so I think that makes them a little bit more fun. So I've just grabbed some scraps today out of my stash, and this is a really great way to use up some scraps, and this would look awesome done with some nice bright design paper as well. So I'm adding a few different layers, like a couple of them I've added flat to the background. I have kept my background white here. I was thinking about doing it on a nice blue or a blue-green background. I think that would look great too. And I am using some foam dots to pop up a couple of the flowers and some matte medium. I think that works really well because when I adhere something down, I can actually move it to make it look just right. The sentiment today is one that I already had die cut, was just in the packet. That's what I do if I'm playing around with an idea for a card and I don't use all of the die cuts. I just pop them back in the storage packet and can use it next time. It's always handy to have them in your stash, and it's from a set called Awesome. So my next card's going to feature the abstract flowers as flowers again. I'm creating a textures panel and using some smoky grey cardstock, and I do cut that one down, and that's just to add a highlight to my card. The stamp I've got here is a big background stamp called Swirled, and I've also used the smoky grey on some grey cardstock, so tone on tone stampings, just to create my own design paper. And I'm doing exactly the same thing that I did for the first card here. I just cut out a stack of different colours, but this time I've kept it to greys and blacks. So I've added that panel of textures to the right side of a top fold card, and I stamped a sentiment from the Choose Happy stamp set, as well as added some black splatters to the card front. And I'm doing exactly the same thing that I did here before. I just layered up my flowers. This time I added a bit more depth to the actual flowers themselves. And that was just simply using some foam dots and some foam squares, as well as some liquid glue, just to change it up a bit, to add the leaves and stems and things. I just found that was easier, and I could just trim the bottom off those, and some black sprinkles. I love how different these flowers look when they're not those bright colours. And now my third card is also a floral design. I've got a little panel that I'm going to put on the front of it. It's nearly a square card, but not quite. And I'm cutting a negative space with the dies. So I've got both a leaf and stem image and the largest of the flowers. I added sort of a green. What I want to do is to have the leaf look green and then the pink show through. So I actually did, and it would have been easier to adhere that pink flower before I popped up my panel for the front of the card, but I didn't think of that before. And I meant to, but I forgot. So I decided to pop up the little black center of the flower, and I think that looks really sweet as a negative space and a really nice little gift card. So we've still got 2 cards to go, and these ones are just a little bit different. I'm going to be using the Abstract Flowers dies more as a negative space this time. But first I'm just going to colour up some critters. The little mice are from Critter Celebration, and the sweet little bear comes from a set called Smiling. And I'm just using some simple Copic colouring, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm colouring it with some Copics, and I will list all the colours at my blog, because I did sort of speed through this today because it's not a big part of the video. I just thought I'd include a short snippet of the colouring. It didn't take long at all. I did fussy cut all of the images. The mice, I only want to use the portion of each image, so I actually cut those right up to the edge. But the bear image is going on the separate card, so I did actually cut that one, leaving a small border. All the colours that I use here on these images will be listed at my blog, and you can find the link in the description below, because I didn't kind of show it all. And I do like to add some depth, just if you don't have all the colours, not that you need all the colours, but if you don't have a lot of Copic colours, a really good trick is to buy one of the greys. Like my favourite is probably the T2 or the Toner 2 to add shading. You can also use the W's for the same way. I think the C's can be a bit cool, but either the TO or the T2, I use it a lot just to add that final bit of depth to an image, especially if I don't have all of the colours. Now I'm going to restamp these images. And I nearly pushed my paper into the wrong corner. Did you see that? So I had originally stamped it with Tuxedo Black, and then when I overstamped it, I used the Onyx just to give it that real dark solid black colour. So on my bear card, I've got a piece of black cardstock, and I thought it'd be fun to make my own sort of dotty cardstock, and I've just ran the dies sort of over the piece of card and moved them around, and then I adhered that to a piece of white cardstock so that the white shows through. Popped it up on some fun foam, added a sentiment from the snippets. Stamp set, again, I have used this set over and over and over and over and over and over. I've just popped the sentiment and the bear on the front of the card and kept it really simple. He's the star of the show. My next design, I'm doing a similar thing, but this time I'm only cutting 3 windows, and that's going to be for my 3 mice. Inside these 3 windows, I want there to be a pop of colour, so I've actually cut the next size down on the abstract flower round shapes, and then just adhered them behind that panel using some tape runner, and then I can actually just pop up the mice as well. So I adhered them with some tape runner, and I did add a sentiment here. This is from the Smitten set, which I thought was really sweet. Very clean and simple designs today, really easy cards. They came together really quickly, and 5 cards using 1 die set. And you could use any critter images that would sort of fit. I really like these mice because I like the way I can make them look at each other. And I did remember to colour that present in. You might have noticed that before. I missed it, but I did remember. And I added some Copic multi-liner stripes, as well as a dark grey background. So don't forget to like this video if you like it, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's always so much fun having you visit me here. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.